As business lawyers in Utah, we have seen too many horror stories of what can go wrong in your business to list them all. We've seen partnerships break up and fight. We've seen good businesses go south because one owner decides to make a choice without informing the other. We've seen business owners take contracts from the internet and use them and end up in a lawsuit later. And the list goes on. So how do you protect yourself in business? What should you do to make sure that you don't lose your shirt if things ever go wrong? We'll start by having a good business lawyer on your side. That's really the first step. Make the choice to find a Utah business lawyer that you can have ready to go at any time. You need to have someone who's seen the ins and outs of businesses that succeed as well as the ones that do not. You see, with Ascent Law on your side, you get a wealth of legal experience at your fingertips. You get seasoned litigators who have been to court and have tried lawsuits in front of judges and juries. You get the experience of thousands and thousands of contracts drafted and the experience to know and make sure that the contracts are airtight and ironclad to protect you. So why are business contracts so important? Well, business contracts are essential because they dictate what you can and cannot do in relation to your business, your customers, and your suppliers. If you don't have good contracts in place, even the best, honest people around can forget or remember things differently than you do. Let me share an example. Just recently, we had a case in court, and the judge gave us an opposing counsel a ruling from the bench. We were assigned to draft the order for the judge to sign, so we drafted it. The attorney on the other side objected to our order, saying that it was incorrect. So we then ordered a CD audio copy of the recording to listen. And then after we had listened to it, we had the recording transcribed. And then we made some minor changes to the order that reflected exactly what the court said as it was recorded. You know what happened, don't you? That's right. The other attorney objected to our revised order and said it was wrong. It's now been over 4 months, and we've had to go back to court on this issue, and we'll go back to court in a few weeks. Imagine if 2 attorneys in court hear the exact same thing differently. What are the chances that you and your vendor may have different understandings? It can and does happen all the time. For this reason alone, you should always have your deals done in writing. It prevents faded memories to cause problems later. What does a good business lawyer do for me? Well, the first thing a good business attorney will do for you is figure out what you need. Depending on the size of your business, you may need very little, or you may need a lot. For example, you may need an employee policy manual put in place or updated. You may need to have training on non-compete agreements. You may also need to make sure that your taxes are being filed correctly. You may need to have your insurance coverage updated. We've had a client for some years who did not want us to do a business legal audit to evaluate what they needed legally, so we didn't do it. But after about 3 years, they got hit with a lawsuit simply because they hadn't followed one of their industry regulations. Don't let that be you. If you're not sure if you have an issue or problem in your business, let us conduct a legal evaluation on your business to make sure that you are 100% compliant with the law. The Utah Commercial Code is lengthy, and if you don't want to do it yourself, you should have us help you understand whether or not you are compliant or not. Additionally, there is information found on the websites for the Utah Department of Commerce and the Utah Legislature, where corporations, LLCs, and other business entities are established. You can go to both of these resources if you want to do it yourself. Please keep in mind that depending on the type of business you run, there may still be other code sections in the law or other regulations that you must follow. We can help you if you have questions about that. So one of the frequently asked questions we get is, what should I do if my customers don't pay? Well, chances are that if you own a business, the bulk of your customers will pay, and they'll pay on time. However, especially in small business, usually terms are offered. So if you've come across customers who pay late or not at all, there's some things that you can do. First, you need to establish some preventative measures. You need to have a system in place that has deadlines and when invoices are to be paid. You need to have your policies very clear. You need to make sure that your clients or customers have contracts and they know when payments are due. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Get it out in the open. Make it very clear. We would also recommend that you get either a portion or all of the payment in advance if you can. You know, even if you do everything right, you'll still come across a customer or two who refuses to pay, or they pay late, or they pay very little. Since sometimes people just make mistakes or forget, sometimes the best thing to do is simply make a phone call. Reach out to them. Communication is key. Send a quick email. This might be all it takes. the customer may tell you that they forgot or they may have another excuse. After about 90 days, if they've refused to pay, what I would do is I would send out a written ultimatum. Basically, you want to say, if you do not pay X, put in the exact amount, and then put a specific date, then put a consequence. We will send your invoice to our business attorney for collections. And then once that date passes, you need to enforce that date by giving us that invoice so we can collect on your behalf. We'll send them a letter that we call a dunning letter, and that should scare them into paying. Some do pay right away. If not, you may need to consider litigation. Sometimes it's worth it to sue, and sometimes it's not. The best thing you should do is speak with a lawyer about it. A Utah business lawyer that's on your side can help you. We have several business attorneys who regularly practice in Utah. We have satellite offices throughout the state. Give our office a call, 801-676-5506. We look forward to helping you with your business.